You are welcome again to this class. We are going to be looking at Excel Macro, in which we are going to be looking at the absolute reference and the relative reference. So the first thing you need to know is what is Excel Macro. Is a recorded sequence of actions that can be replayed to automate repetitive tasks. It is often written in Visual Basic for application, which is the VBA programming language, and allow users to automate process like data manipulation, formatting, and analyzing. So Macro can save your time, increase efficiency by executing a series of commands with a single click or a keyboard shortcut. So how can you do some other tasks with a limited time, so many tasks with limited time using a Macro? So when you look at this, we have a cookie orders. It's having the name, the cookie type, quantity, delivery method, and the word fulfilled. That means the delivering of this product, the customers were fulfilled. So if you look at this, we have 1 to what 13. So we have some that is having yes and some is having no. So with your count if, you can find out how many numbers of yes you have. So using your count if, you found out how many numbers of yes you have. Okay, now this is it. This is not what we are learning today, but we want to quickly see how many numbers of what of that we have, of yes we have. So okay, how many number of yes we have? Okay, this is 9. So how many number of no? This is what? How many number of no we have? This is okay. This is what? This is 4. So when you add it together, you get your what? Your 13, which is 13. So now let's go and execute what we call the absolute reference. So we want to separate the no's and the yes with the formatting color. So we want to use a color to separate it. That will give us a sharp understanding of the fulfillment of this delivery. Okay, now we want to look at absolute reference. Absolute reference is when you only do your task per row. Okay, now let's start with this. Underline this. So we want to start from here. So let's go with our macro. So you go to your view, you click your macro, you record. So it's asking you what is the macro name. So you can give it a name and say what? Just give it a name and say data color. So don't forget that, data color. So with that, we have the short key. At the short key, that means you want to create a short key that you can use to execute this plan, this task. Okay, when you use your shift R, okay, don't forget it's gonna give you Control Shift R. So if you don't use that, if you use just R, you can still use that. Okay, or you change it to your capital letter, you can still have your Shift R. Okay, then you have your store macro in. Where do you want to store it? Okay, this workbook. So you can get your description. So what's the description? Say color what? Data color of what? Of cookies order. Then you click your OK. When you click your OK, you go back to that, you see to your macro, you found out that it's showing what? Recording. So you start what the task you want to do. So when you click on this, the task you want to do, you go to your what? Home, you bold it, or put italics, then underline, then give it a color. So that's what we want to do. Let's use another color. Let's use this. Okay, this is what you want to do. Okay, when you are done with that, you go back to your view, go to macro, then you stop recording. So now you have the tags recorded in your macro. Okay, so now let's go back here and remove this and make use of this and see what we're going to have. So we change it to what we have before. Okay, now you don't forget that we have a recorded tags for this. So you have your macro done, your tags done. So the first way to use this is, number one, you go to what, to view, go click your macro, what, select your word view macro. So the name is what, data color. Click your data color, then you run. You see the tags has been delivered. Also, let's use another way to use that. So go back, you clear the format, okay, I like that first. Then you clear the format. When you clear the format, okay, that will give us, okay, when you clear the format, let's try and do that again. So when you control shift on this, then you highlight this. Don't forget what we use, control shift R. See, control shift R, we also do the command. Very important, very important. So in these two ways you can deliver your tags using your macro. That is absolute reference. So now let's remove this. Look at what, let's look at our relative reference, in which you can do different roles and execute it using our macro. So how do you do that? We click on this again, go back to your view, click on macro, then at this time you are picking use relative reference. You click on that. When you do that, okay, you go back to your reference, to your what, to your macro, then you give it a name. What name I want to use this time? Let's use macro data. Macro data, no shift after, no space after that. So macro data, we are going to use shift T. Okay, you saved it here. So what's the description? You say relative reference. Okay, reference, the relative reference. Click your OK. So you see that now we can see that you can have recording. So let's start with that. Okay, you record that. So what's the tags? You bold it. After bolding it, you put your italic, then you underline, then you put your color. So you go back to your view after completing that task and stop. You stop recording your tags. Okay, after that, let's remove this and see whether we can perform using our tags recorded. Okay, so you remove that. So now let's see how we can do that. Okay, with this we just click. When we click this, don't forget we say control what, control shift T. You've done that. So when you click the next line, you can also use that control what, control shift T. You've done that. So you can use this to perform any or what on this as many times as possible, and that will save your time. Okay, control shift T. So you have done that, separate, you have done what formatting of the fulfillment that is having no using the macro. Okay, now let's clear all the format. Let's just highlight this and clear the format. In which other way we can use this? Okay, so in which other way you, so you can, when you highlight all, go back